guys, what is up? My name is Megan. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe, and welcome to today's video, which is a end of April and May book haul. There are a lot more books here than I anticipated, but I did sell a crap ton on Marketplace this month, so it kind of justifies selling old books. And obviously I was going to bring in some new ones, so I'm going to divide this up by genre. We are going to start with mystery thrillers. I'll make our way through the romance books, fantasy romance, straight up fantasy, and then just go into middle grade at the end. So without further ado, let's hop on in. Starting off with mystery thrillers, I actually only have two, and fun fact, I've sold almost all of my mystery thriller books because I can't seem to find mystery thrillers that I actually enjoy, but we're trying out these two. The first one is The Last Word by Taylor Adams. Taylor Adams is most commonly known for the book No Exit, which was really popular a few years ago, and this has been taking the internet by storm in the past few weeks. This is about a reader who posts stuff on Goodreads and social media, who reviews a book and gives it 1 star, and this author apparently writes to her and is like, hey, could you take down that review? And she's like, no, and then weird stuff starts happening. This sounds really fun, especially because it has all of that bookish content in it, and stuff like this has happened, maybe not to the extent of the book, in the past few years where authors have kind of gone off the rails. So very excited for this one. And the other book I have is more of a cozy mystery, and it is Magic, Lies, and Deadly Pies by Misha Pop. This is about a woman who has magic pies, and those pies make it so that she can kill people. That's the intent behind the pie, and it follows kind of that storyline. There are currently 2 books out, I believe, in this series, and these books are expensive, but I found this copy used for less than $10 when it retails for literally $36 Canadian, so it was a great find. Now moving in to the romance books, which is the majority of this haul. The first book I've already spoken about on my channel, and that is Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this book because, as I said, I've featured it in my channel a few times, and if you want to see my thoughts, be on the lookout for my April and May wrap-up. We then have That Kind of Guy by Stephanie Archer. This is the first book in her series, and I had purchased the second book, which sounds fantastic. I've already hauled this one, but her books were on sale for $12 instead of $20, so I bought the first one. This is fake dating, I believe, a fake engagement, and it's all in a small town. It has all the comfy vibes. It's dual perspective. Very excited, and I want to read the first 2 books in the series to let you guys know how I feel about this author and the series, if it's worth it. So very happy with that deal. Then a book you may have seen on my June TBR is Wild by Michaela Smeltzer. This is a dual perspective rock star romance. It follows I believe the singer in this lead band called The Wild, as well as the producer's daughter. It's a forbidden romance in a sense, and it has to do with the music industry. I love those kinds of books, and I'm very excited for this one, which is also the first in a series. Another book on my TBR is The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest. This I just recently picked up, and I'm so incredibly excited about it. This follows a main character who has an online chat relationship with one of her favorite fantasy authors, but I think she's trying to sort her life out to maybe start dating. She's very shy, introverted, and she ends up enlisting her neighbor to kind of help her with that, I think. But what she doesn't know is that her neighbor is actually that fantasy author, so they know them each other online. All of my favorite tropes. I love Christina Forrest's YA book, so I'm very excited for this one. We then have Runaway Love by Melanie Harlow. This is a single dad / nanny romance, and it is dual perspective. Honestly, it's all I needed to know. I've seen a few romance booktubers talk about this and give it 5 stars, so I'm incredibly excited about this one. I think it might be small town as well. A lot of Melanie Harlow's books are small town vibes, and I just eat the single parent, especially single dad trope up, so I'm excited. How many times have I said excited? Take a shot for every time. Like, honestly, it's ridiculous. We then have Vacation Wars by Megan Quinn. This is a book that follows a main character who is in Santorini for her sister's wedding, and for some reason, I think it was a bet or something they had kind of agreed on, our main character should have married before her sister, but that is not the case. And so in the week leading up to her sister's wedding, they try to find her a date, someone to go out with, I think, and she rekindles a relationship with a childhood friend, from what I understand. It sounds adorable, super sweet, love the vacation vibes, very hyped for this. Then I have Iced Out by Veronica Eden. This is the first book in a new hockey romance series, and it follows a hockey captain as well as a girl who wants nothing to do with hockey boys. I don't know if her family is somehow involved in hockey and that's why she sweared off hockey players, but it sounds like an incredibly fun time. This one is also dual perspective. I think it is a pretty new release because I haven't seen anyone talk about it, but very hyped, and I hope I love it as much as all the other hockey romances I've been reading recently because they've all been incredible hits. We then have Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This is like a companion novel to When in Rome, which I still need to read, but I absolutely adore Sarah Adams, so I had to pick up her newest release. This is between the bodyguard of the girl in the first book and a friend of hers who is tired of dates going wrong and not kind of knowing how to date and being called boring, and so he is like a player and he's going to teach her his ways, and then they end up falling in love. It sounds adorable. Sarah Adams is mostly a closed door romance author, so I'm not expecting like spice or steam in here, but her characters are always adorable. It's gonna be a fun time. We also have Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. This is the author's second book. She is actually a Canadian author, which is why I'm very excited because her first book took the internet by storm. I think it was last year or the year before that, and this is her second book. I think there might be some cheating in here, which is making me a little bit hesitant. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one, but I still wanted to give it a shot, and it was like on heavy sale on Amazon when I got it, so hopefully I like it. Hopefully the cheating isn't there or it doesn't bother me, but because it's like one of the things I can't do in books, so we'll see. Going into fantasy romance, we have a Zodiac Academy. This is the first book, The Awakening, and as I said in my TBR video, this I don't know too much about. I know it has, like, obviously it's a fantasy romance, so there are fantasy elements in here. It follows twins, I believe, and I just think this is going to be like trashy reality books. Like, you know, reality TV, like how you can just eat that crap up and it's just like, it's trashy but it's fun. I have the same vibes for this book. A lot of people say like it's a very addicting series. Is it the best? Probably not, but I am ready to invest myself in that sort of vibe, so I picked up the first book and I'm very excited. The other fantasy romance I have on in my haul is one that like everybody and their mom has already read, and that is Fourth Wing. I did get the edition with the sprayed edges before this book blew up. I've been interested in this for a few months because this is kind of like, for me, the equivalent of Skandar and the Unicorn Thief as an adult book with some spice, and instead of unicorns it's dragons. But that's kind of what drew me to this book in the first place. This is about an academy, and our main character has to like enroll in it, and you either graduate or you die. It has to do with dragons. I know it's an enemies to lovers. I've seen some quotes and some fan art, and it looks absolutely divine. This has an incredible rating. Everybody is giving it 5 stars, and I do need to read this before I get spoiled because I feel like spoilers are everywhere on the internet. But this is the first book, and I think I know it's at least a duology, but I don't know if it's more than that. Beautiful book, but again, the hype for this one, unreal. Then for fantasy books, I have In the Lives of Puppets. This is the gorgeous Waterstones exclusive edition. This is TJ Klune's third book in his kind of like whimsical world, and this has to do with a family of robots and androids, and it's kind of futuristic, but it's also going to be heartwarming and cute, and I think they go on this adventure and it's like them traveling, and honestly, I'm just sold because I love The House in the Cerulean Sea so much. I'm supposed to be reading the next book in that kind of vibe. I'm blanking on the title, but this month, so that I can like get all of these read. But it's just, it's so pretty, you guys. Look at this. It is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Then, something that I did not expect to own or read anytime soon is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book in the Stormlight Archives. This was actually gifted to me by a friend who has now convinced me to read this book, because apparently that's the kind of person I am. Like, I read Malazan, the first book, and now I'm gonna read this. And apparently it's easier to digest than Malazan, but it's also, this edition is a mass market paperback. It has 1,200 pages. So if I don't like this, I'm gonna riot, but I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. I've seen quotes from this book and they look absolutely amazing. So going off of that, it's gonna be a good time. So thank you to my friend, and I will be vlogging my journey with this book throughout my weekly reading vlogs. So if you're interested in seeing my deep dive into the first book in the Stormlight Archives, I own it, I'm gonna read it. And lastly, my middle grade books. One that I keep talking about on my channel, so I won't talk about too much right now, is Skandar and the Phantom Rider by A.F. Stedman. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition with the beautiful hardback, and they're making it like special editions for all the books, I believe, because book 3 is up for pre-order now. If anyone is watching this, I would sell my soul, my kidney, anything for a proof of the third book. I don't know how to make it happen, but I just need it to happen. So yeah, I've talked about the series plenty on my channel. If you haven't seen me talk about it before, I have a review of the first book, and it's too much at this point, so we're just gonna drop it and move on. Then I have the first book in a series, which is The Blackthorn Key by Kevin Sands. This is a 5-book series, and it has to do with like apothecaries, murders. It just sounds amazing, honestly. I picked this up when I was at the bookstore with one of my friends, and it sounds like a mystery with like puzzles to solve and murders to figure out, and just some magic intertwined with that as well. So I'm very intrigued for this, and I hope I like it. I also have the Mystic School of Musicraft by Jessica Corey. This is about it's set in a world where magicians can craft magic, and our main character dreams of attending the Mystic School of Musicraft, where you learn to do that. And this is the first book in a series, and it's said like for fans of Nevermore and something else, and if you say for fans of Nevermore, like, you got me already. So very excited for this, and it just sounds adorable. So very hyped for this one. Another book series I'm super excited to be starting is The Forgotten Five. The first book is Map of Flames, and this cover looks amazing. And essentially this is about supernatural criminals' children, and they have to go find their parents, I think. Like, they're left alone to fend for themselves, and it sounds really fun. It kind of gives me like Descendant vibes for some reason. And this is also, as I said, the first book in a series. I think the first 2 books are out, and the third book is set to come out later this year. It just has all the adventure vibes I'm looking for. It has a team of children like working together, and it also has like my parents are like is a criminal vibe, and I love that. And the last book in this outrageously big haul is Minerva Keen's Detective Club. This is by James Patterson and Keir Graft, and this is about a young girl who, I think like a murder investigation is happening close to her, and she sets out to like find out what is happening because she needs to solve it, or not. She or someone else in her family is going to like be like pin the murder on. And this also is also set in the Arcanium in New York, and it just sounds like a really fun time. This was also heavily discounted. I actually had seen this in Walmart before, and I was like, oh, like I hadn't heard of this middle grade, it sounds fun. And then I checked on like the internet, and it was super cheap on the internet, so I decided to get it. I know James Patterson is something, but I'm very excited for this. So those were all of my books. I will be making a separate video for manga if any of you guys are into that, because I've started reading and collecting some that I found off of Marketplace and other things, and so I will be making a video for that so that those of you who know manga can help this girl out. But if you've made it this far, leave a strawberry emoji, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye guys, happy reading.